What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm not the shit on the fragrance type. Normally I can be pretty respectful, but sometimes I'm a little more animated than others when it's something that just really isn't for me. And this fragrance just really isn't for me. I had to do a less than favorable review on it early in the year. It is a rack store pickup. It's a 2023 release. It's not their only release this year, but it's their worst release this year, I think. It's Cool Water Oceanic Edition. Get that to focus for you real quick because, yeah, it smells like musky, nasty funk and fresh water. Now I know not everybody experiences that. I've had feedback from people say they don't get the same thing, and they actually quite like it. And look, to each their own. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean you won't like it. Just because I think it's actually terrible doesn't mean you won't love it. It might be your favorite release of the year. Like I said, everybody has a different experience. My experience with this is just poor. So let's talk about it. Stay tuned. Okay, so according to Parfumo, I have it pulled up here. Main accords are aquatic, synthetic, fresh, green, and woody. Top notes are aquatic notes, vetiver, and driftwood. I get musky, nasty body odor funk and aquatic notes. As it dries down, it does get a little bit better. You get more of that driftwood and vetiver smell. And I'm attributing, based on the notes they provide, this nasty BO funk to this vetiver driftwood combination. It could just be a skin reaction, but even when I spray it in the air, I get that weird funk to it. It smells like a sweaty armpit. Oh God, it's in the air. It's not often this is the case for me with a fragrance, guys. I actually have a worst of for the year. I don't have multiples. It's this. Because even the ones that are just less than favorable, they're not near as bad as this. This stood out. Picture, for those of you guys watching that were in sports, like the high school locker room after a game. That awful smell. Okay? Mixed with aquatic notes. That's basically what it is for me. Again, I hate that I have to do disclaimers because people are so freaking sensitive on the internet. Stop being so sensitive, people. But anybody that happens to see this that likes this fragrance, don't take it as a personal attack to you. I just personally get this and don't like it. And it's great if you do. It's great if you don't have the same experience as me. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that don't have the same experience as me. But I know there's at least a few that did because they reached out to me. But this is awful. This is awful. You don't hear me say that about a fragrance too often, that it's awful. But, I mean, imagine that. High school locker room, sweaty shoulder pads and all that good shit after a football game with a freshwater accord. Cool Water Oceanic Edition, 2023 release. If you have similar taste to me, maybe you'll get the same experience. I don't know. Maybe you won't like it, but just know that it's going to be a blind buy if you're at the rack stores. And I got excited when I saw it, and I'm like, ooh, a Cool Water flanker. I never passed the Cool Water flankers. I've always had a positive experience with a Cool Water flanker until this. So it warranted the topic. It's actually getting a second video about how much I don't like it. Because we're wrapping things up this year, so it's not too often I have just severe buyer's remorse where I'm literally, and somebody's like, oh, send it to me. No, I keep these for reference. I review fragrances. When certain topics come up, it will be able to be referenced in a particular video moving forward. Worst fragrances, fragrances I regret, worst blind buys, fragrances I hate. You name it, as these topics come up and get revamped over the years, this will probably make an appearance because I guess, disdain for this scent profile is real with me. It's unfortunate. I remember the performance being pretty good, but it's like I didn't want it to perform. Of course it did perform really well when I was trying my best to test it, to review it. It does get better. Admittedly, though, the first hour to 2 hours it's almost unbearable. It's not too often I have something I just really want to get off of my skin. And that was the case with this, unfortunately. It doesn't happen a lot, but it's noteworthy, and I really need to point it out to you guys when it does happen. Thankfully, it was just like a $25, $30 random cheapy fragrance at the rack stores. But you're better than this, Davidoff. You normally put out some really good flankers in this line. This line's been flankered to death, and they're usually really good. Even no matter how basic they may be, they're always pretty solid fragrances to wear. They're good cheapies to pick up. This one just was not. So, worst fragrance release of 2023 according to TLTG reviews. Davidoff Cool Water, Oceanic Edition. Well, I'm not a big fan of doing videos like that, but it's my duty to do videos like that from time to time when it warrants it. And we're wrapping things up, doing the best of, and that includes worst of for this year. Fortunately, it's just the one that I was like, this is awful. This was such a waste of money. Because there's a ton of wastes of money behind me. I get it, because I don't need all these fragrances. I buy them because I want to experience things and review them and talk about them on the internet with you guys. But on occasion, stuff like this does happen, and take it with a grain of salt. Once again, just because I can't stand it doesn't mean you won't. I hate having to do this over and over, but it is what it is. Got to do what you got to do, right? Internet personality, I have to speak to everyone, not just a certain number of people. I have to make sure that everybody's feelings are intact, right? And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. Hope you guys took this lighthearted with a grain of salt, because I'm just playing around. I'm being a little more animated than usual, because it's not often I'm hating on a fragrance. So I find the good in most. I just can't find anything good about this. I just can't, guys. And it's a personal thing. It's a personal thing. It might just be me. It's been a few people. I've had a few people tell me, but there's also people that have reached out to me that enjoy it, which surprises me, but it just goes to show that it's so subjective, and everybody's skin and nose and all that stuff is different. But until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on this and you give it a spray now, and it ends up smelling like the same way it smells to me to you, don't come complaining to me, because I tried to warn you. Have a good one, guys.